just very, very casually.
No.
He's gonna do it. He's doing it. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This video is going to be very interesting because it is titled Why Australia Doesn't Give an F. The original channel is Mark Manson. I wonder if he's related to Charlie Manson. Hopefully not, right? Anyways, links down below for this. So you guys can go over there and check out the original channel. That's always super fun. Thanks for watching with me. We're going to find out why Australia doesn't give an F. Do you guys not give an F? Uh-oh. I don't know. We're going to find out. Honestly, though, Australia's pretty laid back. So, like, yeah, they don't. They do not care.
I'm in Sydney, Australia, and this is the world famous Opera House. And
Yeah,
I'm
it is.
speaking here tomorrow night. What the
Why are you speaking? For what? Who is this? Is he a comedian?
Most of you probably know that I wrote a book, and that book was really successful in a lot of different countries around the world. But in no
Okay.
country was it as successful as it's been in Australia. Even 8 years later, it's still on bestseller lists here. And statistically, something like 1 out of 8 Australians owns a copy of one of my books, which begs the question,
Really?
what is wrong with Australia? I mean, why do they give so few fucks? Or do they give too many fucks? Over the next week, I am doing a speaking tour all across Australia. I'm hitting every major city, and I'm gonna be meeting dozens and dozens of fans. And I'm gonna be asking this question: why doesn't Australia give a fuck? What's going on
Okay.
here? Is it the meat pies? Is it the koalas?
Hey, that's, was it Beard Meets Food?
Why doesn't Australia give a fuck? What's going on here? Is it the meat pies?
Yeah, that dude's got a good channel, actually.
Is it the koalas? There's
Drop
only
bears.
one way to find out.
It's drop bears. They're not koalas. They're drop bears in disguise. Copyright music for me.
Morning
Probably.
in Sydney. Feeling a little groggy. I was, definitely one of those kids who did his homework the night before. I was like up editing my talk till probably 12 or 1.
How are you feeling about the show?
I feel good about the show. It feels like everything came together. More last minute than I would have liked, but that just seems to be the story of my life.
Oh, yeah. I think so.
How did the success of that book change your life?
How long do we have?
Thank you.
You're performing the Opera House. to
Yeah,
start?
well,
So the subtle art of not giving a fuck. So it's super, super popular in Australia because Australians don't give a fuck. I had to wait for the first 30 seconds or minute to pass before I could actually say the F word because, ad monetization reasons.
one, I'm performing at the Opera House.
If I have to get rid of all that music, I'm just going to look silly. I'm just going to be dancing to silence.
It's author and podcast host of The Subtle Art of Not Giving Up. I'm really trying not to say the word, Mark Manson!
Do you feel like the book has been particularly well received here? And if so, culturally, what makes it so?
Can I actually throw that back to you? Because
Yes,
Australia
please.
is actually my best market by a
Why?
long shot.
Do you want to know why?
Yeah, please explain to me.
The title resonates with us,
Yeah.
honestly.
But the concepts too.
Yes.
Yeah,
But
we're
if
very...
we're already into it, why do we need the book?
I don't think it's about that. I think it's about reaffirming something in the way that we approach things.
Okay. You know who really don't give a fuck? House. I'm watching that on Patreon, by the way. Just started season 3. It's a weird season. It's very odd, but I just started it, just so you know. I do have a link down below if you want to check out the Patreon.
So we're here in the green room at the Project, Channel
The dog needs out. Hold on.
10 in Sydney. The fun thing about green rooms, first of all, they're never green. Second of all, they bring you all these snacks. Some green rooms, it's like old stale potato chips and tap water. This one's impressive. So we got
Green room, huh? So that's the room you get it ready in before a show, I guess, is a green room?
a nice basket of chips, some chocolates, hummus, cheese spread here. That's impressive. You don't see that a whole lot. Then you got your usual sodas, some Pellegrino, some nice, genuine Australian wine. This one's pretty good. I'm gonna go 8 out of 10. Definitely above average. Probably not the best I've seen, but it's definitely up there.
Okay,
TV's
I guess.
weird. It's like a completely different skill than any other media. They never want you to answer in more than like 2 or 3 sentences. You can like feel the studio start to get awkward as soon as you start explaining anything. I don't love it. I like podcasts. Podcasts, you can just ramble and they'll fix it in post.
Yeah, that's true.
Is it popular because Australians give so many fucks and there's just like demand? Or is it
No.
because they're like, yeah, I get it?
I think it's
They give too little of a fuck.
the yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
But we aren't as artistic. It's not as subtle for us. No, I think we give the least fucks out of anyone. And I don't say that necessarily like it's a good thing. I just think you came in out of nowhere and confirmed everything we wanted to hear. We wanted to give no fucks and we're like, someone tell us we don't have to.
Bogans certainly don't give a fuck, huh? The Bogans were probably like that before they even wrote this book. Super laid back.
So far, I've only talked to Australians.
Yeah.
You're an American who's been living in Australia for a number of years now. And so I'm curious to kind of dive into a little bit of the culture.
It's a tricky one because when you look at Australians, they live by this motto of the tall poppy syndrome. I don't know if you've heard of it before.
Yeah.
They
He's an American living in Australia. He's almost got an Australian accent. How long has this guy been living there?
tend to cut each other down. And so I think it would make it very hard to not give a fuck in that context.
Yeah.
When you're kind of always looking over your shoulder, like who's going to cut me down? Who's going to like call me out for being a dickhead? Maybe that's a part of it where it's like, it's a message that they need.
Tall poppy syndrome is when someone displays extraordinary individual effort or success and is then socially punished for it. This is common in families and cultures that have strong.
You see it a lot in game shows, there's a show called Big Brother, you know, and all sorts of game shows. The social aspect of it, you don't want to rise too far up. You're going to stand out from the crowd and be a target.
Egalitarian values. The result of tall poppy syndrome is that people feel as though they need to mask their effort and hide their ambitions, lest they make themselves too easy of a target, too tall of a poppy. And if you, by chance, are seen as too successful, the expectation is that you diminish yourself.
That's like my back. I'm so tall and everybody's so short, and I'm always like hunched down because I don't want to look like I'm trying to tower over everybody. This is a depiction of my back. Getting all bent and twisted. That's my spine, guys, okay?
Are seen as too successful, the expectation is that you diminish yourself for the sake of others.
Yeah.
The benefit of tall poppy syndrome is that it promotes social cohesion and harmony.
I do that too, where you diminish yourself for the sake of others. I do, because there's certain people that you hang out with and everything, and it's like you don't want to seem bad. Like you put yourself on their level, okay? Basically, depending on who you're around, you kind of dumb yourself down to be on the same level as the crowd. You don't want to be seen as like a know-it-all or something like that. So I get it.
Downside is that it demotivates people from pursuing anything that may cause them to stand out as being exceptional or a success.
Yeah, that's true.
The tall poppy syndrome is also something that makes Australia great.
Yeah.
If you look at the opposite of it, oh my God, it's like the worst people on the internet are like the Americans that are fucking cocky and that are like, you know, if you don't have a six-pack abs, then you're not working for me. And it's like braggadocio and arrogance that is so common in the US that I think you come here and that tall poppy syndrome helps to keep people humble.
The tall poppy thing is interesting because you do have to worry about what other people are thinking, but you also have to look like you're not worrying about what other people are thinking.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. It's all the approach.
I do that. And it's part of social anxiety too for me. I'm always constantly evaluating the room that I'm in, the people I'm around. What are they thinking? You know, every move that I make, everything that I say, I second guess it. I evaluate it in my head and figure out what are they thinking based on what I said or how I approached something. Yeah. Over it, analyzing the situation and the anxiety.
Which of like, you have to be very self-aware as well.
Where do you think the tall poppy syndrome comes from?
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
No clue, guys. No clue.
You ready?
I think. I guess I have no choice. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Where's he going? Is he going to that show? So this guy's a writer. A comedic writer, I guess. Maybe he does comedy as well, like stand-up, I don't know.
The concert hall, this is your 5-minute call. This evening's event will commence in 5 minutes. Thank you.
I like that blue lighting. It's pretty nifty. I hope this doesn't get copyrighted. I feel like it probably will. A lot of music in here.
The next day, I flew to Melbourne.
Melbourne.
But first, I wanted to stop at a couple museums to learn about Australia's history.
Okay.
For tens of thousands of years, the continent of Australia was populated by Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander nations who lived sustainably off the land. But then, in 1770, British explorer Captain James Cook claimed Australia for Great Britain.
Yep. Aboriginals, they were doing great. They were doing fine. Perfectly fine for hundreds, if not thousands of years. And then good old James Cook had to show up and just kind of fuck it up for all of them, pretty much.
The establishment of penal colonies soon followed. But soon, waves of settlers and immigrants came as the Australian continent turned out to be plentiful and
I'm talking to the camera. I'm doing my video. I love you. Bye. No, I'll be done soon.
resources, with the world's largest gold deposits, as well as iron, coal, and later uranium.
The world's
Australia
largest gold?
thrived, enjoying the benefits of its geographical isolation, its abundant resources, and stable democratic governance.
Right.
The lucky country, as it is sometimes called, has had it so good that ironically, Australians seem indifferent or even slightly ashamed of their own history. I hope to learn.
I mean, I can understand the lucky country, right? Like they're away from a lot. They're pretty safe there. You guys are in a great spot. Unless the danger is the UV rays, then you could probably not be in a worse spot because you're in the worst spot in the world for UV rays, evidently. But if that's your only threat and some crazy spiders, you're good, right?
Learn a lot more about their history, but to my surprise, the few museums they had were tiny and basically empty. It made me wonder if this maybe had something to do with the tall poppy syndrome and why Australians don't give a fuck.
Okay, interesting. He's checking out all the stores he goes to. He's like, yep, there's my book. There she is. Melbourne.
It was 17 in Sydney. Bullshit.
Okay, this another podcast?
What is it about Australian culture, why it resonates so much here?
You don't want to be seen to care too much. It's almost like it's a desperate energy. It's not true though.
Of course.
That's what I think the perception is like if you care too much, it's almost like you're holding on too tight.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on tall poppy syndrome?
Oh, tall poppy syndrome in Australia is actually a real thing.
Yeah.
We learn to be humble, even if we've done a whole scope of things. We won't say them because we don't want to brag. It's a real.
Does this have anything to do with the Dutch thought of de normal? So I know Australia has a lot of ties with Britain and stuff, obviously, a lot of descendants from people from the UK and Great Britain. but it was technically discovered by the Dutch. There was an early Dutch, I guess there wasn't a colony there. The Dutch never colonized it, but they had like an outpost or something. I don't know. It just seems like there's some stuff, like the fairy bread, right? Butter on bread with some sprinkles. That is a very Dutch thing. I wonder if this is similar to the Dutch thing where it's like, do normal because you're already standing out. You're already crazy enough as it is. You know what I mean? Like, so don't stand out above the crowd.
Real cultural thing that we learn from when we're young. Aussies want to not give a fuck, even though they inherently do. And so having your book provides wisdom to them because they're trying to fit more of that stereotype of like being laid back and not caring. When, I mean, we do. Of course we do.
That's an interesting point that it's like actually not giving a fuck here is almost like a status thing.
Yeah. It's like don't be so uptight or don't sweat the small stuff.
Yeah.
You know how people always say that.
Yeah.
It's like, well, sometimes it can be quite challenging to do that.
Right.
I mean, yeah, I get it. They roar? Okay.
Hey, buddy. Hi there. Hi there. Did you know that this video is sponsored by BetterHelp?
That's cool.
It's a therapy service that you can access anytime via video call, phone call, or text message. Yeah, do you like that? Did you know that more than 40% of people don't have access to mental health care? But BetterHelp tries to solve that. Did you know that if you don't
I want to cuddle with one of those.
At any time, no extra charge? That's exciting.
Okay, so he's just going to tell the...
If you can't access a
drop
koala
bear,
cuddle, then I recommend therapy. It's the next best thing. Use the link in the description to get 10%
telling the drop
off
bear
your first
about
month,
the
or go
sponsor.
to betterhelp.com/Mark Manson.
There you go,
Such
guys.
a cutie.
Get you
You're
that
such a
discount.
cutie. Oh, burpees.
Yeah, I'd probably cuddle with one of those. They look like they'd be perfect for cuddling.
Somebody's burp. Ooh. Excuse you. Yes. So I'm here at the Melbourne jailhouse, which is the third consecutive disappointment of trying to visit an Australian history museum. There's just a conspicuous lack of history in this country, which I find perplexing. I've been to a lot of countries and I've been to a lot of museums, and everywhere else in the world, people are really proud and excited of their history. But strangely, here in Australia, people seem to be indifferent. What the hell is up with that?
Yeah, what is wrong with you? Get into your history.
To learn more, I decided to meet up with an old friend of mine named Liam. Liam is a mountaineer and entrepreneur. He's climbed some of the highest peaks all over the world, and he's one of the most thoughtful and philosophical dudes I've ever met.
Okay.
So we've known each other now for like 3-ish years, and you've been all over, like literally all over the world.
I mean, covered a bit of territory. Yeah.
You're doing the Aussie humble thing right now. You know me, you know your country. Like, why is my work so big here? Like, why do they put me in the opera house? I'm like me? I'm the fuck guy. Why? This is the most prestigious building in your country.
So the question is, why do you guys like me so much?
Yes, please.
Oh, I see where this is going. Maybe this is something cautionary we have to think about. If you're making some content about why am I so special, I will give you an example of something that you can do in the event that you too start to lose the favor of the Australian market. All you need to do, like in the middle of your content or anything you're doing, is just casually remove your shoe.
Okay.
And you need to get whatever beverage that you have.
Do a shoey.
And you need to pour it into the shoe.
You're gonna do a shoey.
Once you've done that, you just very, very casually.
No.
He's gonna do it. He's doing it. He's doing a shoey.
You need to drink all of it.
No. What?
Ew.
What are you doing? What is wrong with you?
So it's called a shoey. And
I
you
would
put the shoe back on, and you go on with your life as if
That is
nothing
so
happened.
fucking
I wouldn't do that with my shoe. The way it smells right now.
disgusting.
I'm helping you out, man. You're a good friend. I'm not fucking you out. Okay, so
Is this a thing, Jess?
It is a thing, and by the way, I mentioned it in another video, and it still stands. If you get this channel to 100,000 subscribers, I'll do a shoey. You want to see me do a shoey? Subscribe. Tell your friends about it. Share the channel. Get them all to subscribe. I'll do a shoey for you.
The thing.
A shoey.
See, did anyone flinch? Look at this.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, you're American, and you know it's completely understandable that there are obvious hygiene concerns with drinking beverages.
Yeah, yeah.
There are cultural mechanisms and rituals to make sure that Australians don't.
But the thing is depending on what you put in there, the alcohol may kill the germs. You put something strong enough in there, the alcohol will kill those germs, and you can just drink it up.
Yeah, too big for their own boots, too self-important, or next to that, also, so they're not to take themselves or life too seriously. You know, really, like a lot of people that were initially here in Australia had a suspicion and a dislike for the upper class, a dislike of authority, and resistance to any privilege or any sort of importance or seriousness that emerged from that. And we
Right. Well, a lot of them were also convicts and outcasts themselves. Yeah.
literally have like, you know, things in our culture that kind of ensure that that's regulated.
Here in Australia, you're socially rewarded for the appearance of not giving a fuck. And so you get this paradoxical thing where it's almost like a status symbol to have the air that you don't give a fuck about anything. Yet, that is giving a fuck about something.
I mean, that's a kind of American perspective on it. I think it's not, I mean, like,
okay.
I think it
fair.
might not be necessarily status, but more like avoiding being excommunicated. You can imagine that, like, the penal colony environment, you didn't want to stand out. So not taking yourself too seriously is, like, I think even, like, part of almost a prerequisite for acceptance.
I think I just do that natural, like just anyways. Like obviously I'm not Australian or anything like that, but like I feel like I just do that. I try not to be serious. I mean, obviously there's times, there's clearly times you have to be serious, but for the most part, just kick back, have fun. Like just don't worry about the little things. You know, because don't worry about the little things that are bad. It's the little things that are good that matter. That's what I mean, right? Because life's about the little things. It's not about the bad things.
All right, we're here at Hamer Hall in Melbourne. We're gonna do a green room review. This one's a vibe. Check out this wallpaper. This is like 1970s porno wallpaper.
Yeah.
We got the gold lamp in the corner. We got a piano on this side with a mirror wall. Show them the piano mirror wall. Look at that. Piano mirror wall. We got the old school light switches that Jess is fucking up right now. Boom. I'm digging it. It's a vibe. Some sesame bites, nuts, chocolate covered raspberries, potato chips, some fruit. I don't like to eat a whole lot.
Dog wants back in. Hold on.
Before I go on stage, it's not good for the nerves, but an apple, maybe.
Wait, what's not good for the nerves? Or just eating in general? Is that what you're saying? Good to know, I guess, huh?
I don't like to eat a whole lot before I go on stage. It's not good for the nerves, but an apple, maybe some nuts, like that's kind of perfect. So we got a little mini fridge, my 2 sugar-free Red Bulls. Every time a performer comes to a venue, they have a thing called a rider, and that's basically all the stuff that they demand backstage, all the food items, clothing, drinks. A lot of artists are famous for having riders that are like 15 pages long. I just asked for 2 sugar-free Red Bulls. I'm a simple man. And then got the bathroom, got a shower. Pretty straightforward. I like this one. It's smaller, it's quaint, but it's got a vibe. It's very comfy, cozy. I'm gonna go 9 out of 10. Big thumbs up for Hamer Hall.
It's a vibe. Oh, that's cool carpet. Look at that.
Mark Manson.
Mark Manson.
What's up, Melbourne?
I traveled over 7,000 miles to come desecrate this fine establishment with F-bombs.
We're going to talk about the importance of living an unbalanced life.
Hi, Mark. As someone who had a rough childhood, how do you forgive the people who did you dirty? You still see the good in people, but without being naive or bitter.
It's hard. I carried a lot of resentment for a long time. Most of my 20s, definitely had a lot of resentment. I posted a thing a few months ago. I'm probably gonna fuck this up, but it was something like, the best way to get revenge is to build a life so great that getting revenge would feel like a waste of time.
Thank you, Melbourne. It's been a pleasure.
Good advice. Good advice. Death 3. Brisbane. Going to Brisbane. The old, was that in Queensland? Very subtropical, humid place. Why does this sound like jungle music?
I'm tired.
You're tired?
Okay, I don't even know how to start this. Every time I come to Australia, Australians rave about this thing called Vegemite, which I guess is like almost a weird savory jam.
Vegemite, I've yet to try it.
I'm here with my social media manager, Jess. She's Aussie, and she has prepared an array of butter and toast for me. What are we doing here? What are these 3 different versions?
So here we have the 3 stages of life with Vegemite. You will serve.
See the 3 staples of life.
Different versions.
So here we have the 3 stages of life with Vegemite. You will serve this dish from any age that a child starts eating. Soft, simple, white bread.
You give this to children. This explains a lot, Australia. I'm not getting a whole lot of flavor out of this. So let's move on to the adolescent Vegemite. Let's see how this goes. It's so salty. It tastes like a shoe.
What?
How is this so popular?
How does it taste like a shoe? You said you wouldn't do a shoey. Now all of a sudden you know what shoes taste like? I think he's been doing secret shoeys behind the scenes, off camera. Yeah.
I don't understand. Maybe I'm too grown up. Let's see if the sourdough can save the situation here. It's like somebody opened up a salt shaker and just dumped it on top of butter. I don't get it. What the fuck is this?
I'm sorry.
That's what I hear. I hear it is insanely salty and it's an acquired taste. I would love to try it sometime.
Sorry, Australia. Vegemite is thumbs down. I tried.
I mean, he gave it a fair shot, right? Where we going now? Canberra? Why does that music sometimes sound like chimpanzees, like in the background? You hear it? You hear it?
In 1964, an author named Donald Horne wrote a famous book called The Lucky Country about Australia. The name caught on, and Australians these days often refer to themselves as the Lucky Country, mostly because of their prosperity and how nice the quality of life is. It's a peaceful, stable country full of natural resources and a functioning democracy. Everything just kind of works. But Horne meant the Lucky Country not as a compliment, but rather as kind of an insult. He was essentially saying that Australians are lucky because not even the idiots who are in charge could fuck it up. It's interesting as an American because so much American history is based on overcoming struggles and wars and all these horrible things that we went throughout our history. As a result, we think about our history all the time, and because we think about our history, we have a very strong national identity.
So he was saying that Australia's lucky because, like, you guys are lucky you haven't had to deal with any of this or something, like,
There's a lot of pride in the United States. Here in Australia, there doesn't seem to be a...
There's also a lot of shame, depending on how you look at it. In a lot of ways, I'm ashamed to be an American. In so many ways. Yeah. That's a whole different story for a whole nother day, though.
a whole lot of national identity. And I think a lot of that comes back to the lack of struggle. It comes from the fact that they are the lucky country. Instead, they've adopted an identity of casualness, an easygoing, fun-loving indifference, a subtle art of not giving a fuck.
Right. Not giving a fuck. Do not click like on my video. Do not subscribe to my channel, because who gives a fuck, right? I don't know. Maybe a little reverse psychology will work. Maybe that'll get you to watch more.
Touring is weird in that it is the same thing over and over.
Adelaide?
Yet each day the place changes. Airport, hotel, sound check, event. Airport, hotel, sound check, event.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yet the scenery shifts, the people are interchanged, the stories are different.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a strange existence, halfway
Perth?
between a repetitive tedium and constant novelty.
The most isolated big city in the world. Perth, Australia. That's what I hear. How are we doing tonight? Somebody's from Perth watching this right now. Shout out to you.
Man, it is stunning out here. I'm in Perth, Australia, the West Coast. We've crossed the entire country. The tour is over. It's been an incredible experience.
Didn't go to the top.
Go home tomorrow.
Said, oh, I crossed the entire country. He didn't even go to the top left. None of that. None of this up here. Nothing. There's got to be something up there.
It's been an incredible experience. And finally get to go home tomorrow. But most importantly, I feel like I've gained an understanding of Australian culture and Aussie character. We learned that there's social risk to being too conspicuous in Australia, that it could be rooted in their convict past. We've learned that there's kind of a lack of consciousness around history and identity here, and that ultimately people are socially rewarded for being casual. So while the message of the book has resonated all over the world, it makes sense why here it's just taken on a completely different life of its own. Because it's not just about reducing anxiety or being less stressed. Here it is a fundamental part of their national character. This is a great country, man. I really love it. And I feel like something about my work has permanently bonded me to this culture here. I feel like I'm going to be coming back here for the rest of my life.
Heck yeah, why not? Why not? Well, and I feel like I'm going to be reacting to Australian stuff for maybe the rest of my life. I don't know. Maybe why would I stop the channel, right? Like, it's already a channel. It's already going. I'm just going to keep on keeping on and keep on learning about Australia. So thanks for watching with me, guys. Hit like and subscribe. Have a super fun, awesome day, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care. Bye.